I want to bring into the conversation now Robert Litt. Mr. Litt used to work at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence under President Obama. He was general counsel in that office. Mr. Litt, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thanks. I wish I didn't have to be here.
Well, you're here on a night that is remarkable news. We learned yesterday that the president had moved with alacrity to install someone surprising as the new acting director of national intelligence, a man named Rick Grenell, who has no intelligence experience at all, has never had an intelligence-related job ever, is currently serving as the ambassador to Germany. We then learned tonight in the New York Times that the president appears to have decided to get rid of the existing director of national intelligence because he was very angered that there was a briefing by someone in his office last week to Congress that Russia is trying to interfere in the 2020 election to again benefit President Trump. It seems like that's what caused the quick move to install Rick Grenell in this job and to oust the existing director. Just have to ask your top-line reaction to that tonight.
Well, I think this is all very troubling. There's a third story as well that just broke late this evening, which is that the number 2 at the Office of Director of National Intelligence, a career CIA officer who's very well respected, has been asked to go back, and instead they have moved in a former aide to Devin Nunes, who is best known for traipsing around the country, around the world, trying to undermine the conclusions of the intelligence community about the Russia investigation. So I think that, number one, you have a man who is utterly unqualified to be director of national intelligence. The statute that created the position says that the director of national intelligence should be somebody with extensive national security expertise. Now, he's only going in as acting, so he doesn't need to meet that qualification. But his principal qualification appears to be political loyalty to the president. And that is very dangerous in at least 2 respects. The first one, and the New York Times story about the briefing of the Intelligence Committee demonstrates this. The purpose of the intelligence community is to generate factual, accurate, unbiased information so that policymakers can make decisions in the national interest. And you have a real risk that somebody who views himself as so completely aligned the president doesn't want to hear, thus undercutting the utility of the intelligence community. The other risk, of course, is that you have a president who's announced without any basis that he thinks that President Obama weaponized the intelligence community against him. You have a president who's already indicated he's willing to weaponize law enforcement against his political opponents. And there's a real risk that having a coterie of loyalists at the head of the intelligence community is going to embolden him to try to use the resources of the intelligence community to undercut his political opponents. So I think this is very, very troubling.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.